Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. I'm your host, Mari Riesberg. Over the past several years, I've combined my degrees in acting and somatic psychology to share my sustaining creativity techniques with performers. And now I've decided to share it with a bigger audience that includes you. I believe we are all creative, and this podcast is all about that. I'll be interviewing people from all backgrounds, ages, and creativity experiences to share just how creative we all are. Today, I'll be chatting with Wendy Gunn, Christian entrepreneur and ovarian cancer survivor. Please enjoy Wendy Gunn. Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. Today, I'm chatting with Wendy Gunn, Christian entrepreneur and ovarian cancer survivor. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Mari. I'm so glad to be here.
I am so glad you are here to chat with me. I got a sneak peek of the excitement you have around our topic today of creativity. But before we jump into that, why don't you take a couple of minutes and let our listeners know a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
I'd be happy to. Well, I do love this subject and I'm excited to talk about it. And partly because I was going along comparing myself, as many people do, many women especially, comparing myself to this friend and taking a little bit of this from this friend and that friend and trying to make it my story.
Yeah.
And I was severely obese as well. And I was miserable. And then one Tuesday in May, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And a lot of things, God did a lot of things in that time. But one of them was I was diagnosed with 2 football-sized tumors. They thought it had spread. It wasn't caught early. It's called the silent killer because the symptoms aren't usually something you react to. And so it's not usually caught early. But I was able to get into surgery after many prayers by many people I knew and didn't know. And 3 days later, they found one tumor, still football sized, but it was contained and it was caught early.
Wow.
And what that especially said to me at that time, it changed my whole thinking because I realized that I was uniquely created by God. And so are you. And that my story was changed forever, but yours is unique too. And I became, the next year, I was determined, desperate to get healthier, and I lost 50 pounds.
Wow.
And that set the dominoes falling of big goals achieved. And so over the years, I have achieved many big goals. And I lost another 50 pounds after age 60. And I started my online business after age 60. And I began coaching and I embraced who I am. And my passion became to tell you how uniquely created by God you are for a purpose. And so the topic of creativity, we're created in the image of God, and He is called the Creator. And so we have so much creativity within us. And so my passion is to help people to stop comparing and copying and competing and coveting other people's lives and live out who they uniquely are.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing the story. And my goodness, the creativity that goes into a cancer diagnosis and weight loss, that journey, and starting a business and shifting life and perspective after 60 is tremendous. So thank you for sharing all of that and the reminder of comparison and what that does to our spirit and to us. And that quote of comparison is the thief of joy. So really reclaiming joy for yourself in saying, I'm not going to compare myself to other people and trust my own journey. And that unique journey is enough for me. So,
And it's different. Yours is
yes.
different than mine. And so it's really, and then also, as someone of my age,
Mhm.
I try to encourage people that it's a lifelong, fabulous journey to continue to, and we'll talk more about that, but I just get excited because there's so much even more every day.
Absolutely. I know. I recently saw a little video of women who had accomplished things, their first things at many different stages of their life. And I was struck by, I'm not going to remember the woman's name, but she wrote her first book at 103. And I was like, oh my gosh, what a great reminder that it doesn't matter our age, we get to change the
I love that.
narrative or achieve big things at any age in our life. So,
Absolutely. I love that.
yeah. Yeah. Well, seeing as how we're talking about creativity, what does it mean to you to be creative?
Well, I wrote down some thoughts because it is a great question. I love that question. And so I've talked a little bit about it, but as an entrepreneur and a coach, I am creating solutions to
Mm,
individuals' problems, and I'm creating offers and that kind of creativity.
mhm,
Um, but for me, it really means opening up my heart and mind to possibilities
mm, yeah.
and removing limiting beliefs,
Mm,
removing assumptions and presumptions,
mhm,
and thinking outside the box.
yeah. I love it.
So it's just, and I mentioned, both the fact that we're created in the image of God, therefore we have we have no idea how creative we are. And then to be constantly exploring
Mm,
new dreams and goals,
mhm.
not squashing our dreams and goals.
Yeah. I'm curious, you talked about limiting beliefs, and I wonder for people who that may be a new term for them. If you
Yeah.
wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about what
Yes.
what are limiting beliefs?
Well, you know what? This was something I was going to share later, so maybe we'll come back to it too. But okay, so I'm sure that your listeners, had someone tell you you're not good at this.
Mm-hmm.
And in the creative realm,
Yeah.
I was told you're not good at art.
Mm. Yeah.
Flat out, as a young child, you are not good at art. Bam.
Yeah.
Well, that now even thinking about that upsets me, because I just want to encourage creativity in others.
Mm.
And it wasn't until I grew up and left home that I started experimenting
Mm.
with
Mm-hmm.
crafts, for
Mm.
example.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved doing crafts. And I I never had any training
Sure.
because I'm not good at art. Okay.
Right. In big
But
air quotes that we've got going on.
but I drew. I would
Mm.
draw a person, a face, or I would draw.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, with no training, I wasn't half bad. And I loved it. So it was, the limiting belief
Yeah.
that I'm not good at this,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
or I can't do that.
Yeah.
And therefore, I'm not even going to try.
Mm.
That's
Okay.
the kind of limiting belief I'm talking about.
Yeah. So how do you then work with those limiting beliefs? Are there any quick tips or little tools that someone might employ if they're struggling with their own limiting belief?
And I think we all have them. And I
Yeah.
think it's universal. I think it's
Yeah.
universal, and I think it's universal in families,
Mm-hmm.
that families, parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles
Mm-hmm.
assume that that we are, whatever your family name,
Mm-hmm.
we are not good at this.
Right.
Therefore, you are not going to be good at this before you're even born. It's just
Mm-hmm.
foregone conclusion. And you're stuck in this rut, you might say. And first of all, I encourage you to say, who says?
Mm.
And why not?
Yeah.
W- And try.
Who
I said
says
I
why not and try?
experimented.
I love all three of those. Yeah.
Try. And then the other thing about that is, excuse me, there are many creative activities that require skills that need to be trained and built
Sure.
and practice.
Yeah.
So to not have the mindset that I've got to be perfect at it from the get-go, and it's got to be the Mona Lisa the first time,
Yeah.
no, allow yourself to have fun and enjoy the process of creating.
I love that. I'm also really struck that you're really speaking to allowing yourself to being a beginner.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That
And a
idea.
beginner at any age. That
Yeah.
103-year-old who wrote a book.
Yeah.
I mean, to not say, I'm too old, I'm
Yep.
too this, I'm not enough of this, I'm whatever. Those are all these limiting beliefs that I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about. And
Yeah.
we have to, the first thing is to change our own self-talk.
Yeah, that narrative, that tape inside of our head. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. So when you are working on your own, offerings or things that you put together as an entrepreneur and bump up against your own limiting beliefs or your own challenges, how do you navigate them for yourself?
That's a great question. And so I've heard a couple people say this recently, and I've thought about how this answer, and I've thought about it relates to so many different things. And um, there's a couple different things that relate to this. Okay, first of
Mhm.
all, I want to say that when we face challenges,
Mhm.
it may be something simple like we didn't have a good night's sleep.
Sure,
We're not
sure.
sleeping well, or we're not eating well,
Mhm.
and we're not at our best. And it's hard to be creative
Yeah.
when you're really exhausted.
Mhm.
So not to beat yourself up,
Mm.
if
Mhm.
you just are in a time of life where you've got a new baby or something,
Yeah.
don't beat yourself up,
Yeah.
This too shall pass, and you'll be much more creative when you have enough sleep.
Mhm.
Drinking water, staying hydrated, there's certain physical things. I'm a big water drinker, and
Yeah.
so, you know, just simple things like that that contribute to
Mm.
us feeling better. And
Mhm.
when we feel better, healthier, we are going to be able to be more creative. And we'll be
Mm.
able to laugh at our failures, and we can just see things differently.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, the thing that I said I've heard recently a few times, and I really believe it, change your surroundings.
Mhm.
If you're just really stuck, get up and go outside.
Yeah.
Just, change your surroundings.
Mhm.
Don't just try, hitting your head against the wall repeatedly. take a break.
Yeah. What's your favorite place to go when you change your surroundings?
I just like going out, if I'm working from home in my house, I just like if it's not, I'm in Minnesota, so if it's not winter, I like
Sure.
just walking out the door onto the deck, and we live on a lake, and just I like hearing the birds
Mm.
and seeing the waterfowl on the lake, and
Hmm.
just breathing. And also that's another thing.
Hmm.
Practice some deep breathing
Mm. Yeah.
and move your body.
Love that
Do some
reminder. Yes.
stretching.
Yeah. I see
And
you're doing some arm movements as you say, do some stretching. I love that reminder and how it can really support us.
simple, really
Yeah,
simple things that we forget. We
absolutely.
forget, but they're not hard. They're not
Right.
hard at all, but we forget. We forget to breathe.
Yeah, we do.
We forget. And when you're stressed and you're trying to, figure something out, you tend to do this, and you tend to get stressed in here, and you tend to um you don't breathe.
Right. So you're really tense and lots of people carry it in their shoulders and they scrunch forward and
So
yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
So just even standing up and running in place, or just like I said, doing some, broad movements, and
Yeah,
breathe, because breath also activates your brain. Your brain can't work can't really work
sure.
without oxygen.
Absolutely. Yeah, great reminders and little tips. And I love that it's about, keeping it simple, not making it too overcomplicated for yourself, doing
And you can
things that you
talk to
can.
people,
Yeah.
not copy them or whatever, but if you're I process by talking,
Yeah.
which you might have figured out. But so, if it helps you, have
Hmm.
a friend or someone that you can bounce your ideas off of,
Yeah.
and that may spark creative juices as well.
Absolutely. Well, you talked a little bit about kind of early experiences of creativity where someone told you you weren't and you couldn't do art. But I'm curious, what's your earliest memory of being creative?
Well, I grew up in a musical home.
Hmm.
Excuse me. And while, everybody has their idea of what creativity means,
Yeah.
but I see music as very creative.
Hmm.
And so I thought about perhaps my first positive experience or memory
Yeah.
is when I was encouraged to sing,
Hmm.
and I sang. We had my uncle visiting from California. He played the guitar and he sang,
Hmm.
and we sang a duet together.
Oh.
That's just a fun memory of doing something that I consider creative.
Hmm.
But I I don't want to be negative, but I do want to encourage, because the first the first memory that I
Yeah.
had when I thought about this question
Hmm.
was not it was it's crazy the things that stick with you.
Yeah.
And my first memory was I can laugh about this now, but I feel sorry for little Wendy at that
Yeah.
time. I remember, and I can visualize exactly what the whole scene looked like.
Hmm.
And I could not color inside the lines when I was in kindergarten.
Mm.
And so I must have been scolded or told I was doing a bad job or something,
Yeah.
because I have that scene etched in my mind. And then
Mm.
add on the layer of you're not good at art.
Yeah. Oh my
But
goodness.
I just want to encourage
Mm.
everybody
Yeah,
that we have untapped creativity inside of us.
absolutely.
And just unbelievable creativity. And so to just like I said, I enjoyed it. I experimented and
Yeah.
found out I loved certain things
Hmm.
that I had just been told, no, you're not, we're not good at that. We don't
Right.
do that.
Yeah, I'm curious,
Oh,
with the music and singing with your uncle, was any of that kind of cultivated and supported in a
that
different
was.
way? Yeah.
That was because my mom was a fabulous musician.
Hmm.
She played the piano. She had played the piano by ear before she was 12
Wow.
and played at weddings and played beautifully. And then
Mhm.
later was told she needed to forget everything she had learned when she went to McPhail's music school and she had to relearn. But she was someone who could play beautifully into her
Mm.
90s before she
Mhm.
passed away. She played the piano, she played the organ, she
Wow.
sang until she was in her 90s in
Mhm.
a group. And
Mhm.
so, yes, she encouraged that in
Mhm.
her daughters.
Yeah.
Not all of us could sing, but
Mhm.
we took piano lessons and we sang, and that was
Mhm.
encouraged.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's yes. And as a parent, I don't know, do you have children?
I don't.
But the people listening, anyone who
Mhm.
has access or influence in children's lives, I just want to encourage you to think about yourself trying new things and being creative
Yeah.
because there's so much fun out there. So much
Absolutely.
creative fun.
Yes.
And and then to encourage the children in your life,
Mm.
to
Mhm.
just try things.
Yeah. I'm curious, how would you encourage maybe adults who don't think they're creative to find creativity in their life?
Well, I would say if you have, first of all, well, obviously online there's a wealth of things that you can just Google and you can YouTube and
Mhm.
find something that piques your interest.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
then, watch and learn and do maybe more research about it
Mm.
and take a class. There's tons of community classes on
Mhm.
different, creative outlets
Yeah.
and for adults and community ed kind of things and
Mhm.
um, just try
Is
and
there
have some
anything
fun.
okay, is there anything in your life that you are thinking, "Oh, I'd love to try that," and haven't yet?
Oh, there are so many things. Life is too short to do all the things I want to do. Seriously. And that's another thing about it, that I want everyone to not curb that creativity,
Mm.
not,
Mhm.
box it in, but let it go from a young age
Yeah.
so that you are constantly finding new outlets for your
Mhm.
creativity. I also believe it grows.
Yeah,
I
for
believe
sure.
that as you are using your creativity, it grows.
Yeah, Maya Angelou says, "The more you use, the more you have."
Yep.
I love it. Well, this has been such a treat getting to chat with you. I just have one last question. What does it feel like in your body to be creative?
Oh, it feels really good. It feels so good to be creative.
Mm.
It's
Mhm.
it's like a dopamine.
Yeah.
Something happens in here,
Yeah.
everywhere when you create. And I believe that's partly because again, the
Mm.
creator created us in his
Mhm.
image and that limitless creativity and I think he finds joy, in the Bible it says that he told Adam to name all the animals.
Mm.
What a creative.
Sure.
I mean, go ahead, name all the, and I think that he has joy in seeing what we come up with too.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
as a parent, I am a parent, and I know that it brings me such joy when I see my children also creating.
Yeah.
And so it's just I just, we all have limitless creativity. We have not tapped it at all.
So true. I love that reminder, and a perfect way to segue into letting our listeners know the offerings that you have or how to get in touch with you if they want to learn more about the work you do.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Well, I am at yourhomeforgod.com is my website. Your, Y-O-U-R, home, H-O-M-E, for F-O-R, God, G-O-D.com. And I do empowerment coaching, which is whatever your dreams and goals are that you feel that are untapped, I help you achieve them by finding out who you are uniquely created. What are your unique gifts and talents and dreams and aspirations and all of that? And so you can go and book a call with me and find out how we could work together at www.calendly.com, calendly.com/Wendy Gunn, 2 N's, /connection. And I would love to talk to you. And I just get obviously super excited about helping others to achieve goals that they never dreamed they could.
Wonderful. Well, I'll add links in show notes so people have easy access. And thank you again for taking the time to chat with me. I have thoroughly enjoyed our chat.
Oh, I did too. Thank you, Mari.
Thanks for listening to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. We'd love to keep in touch, so follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We are at Sustaining Creativity. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Tag your friends and family so they can listen too. We love to hear from you, so leave your reviews, comments, and questions. Check out our website, sustainingcreativity.com, for upcoming offerings and creativity coaching. Tune in Tuesdays for our next episode. And remember, with creativity, anything's possible.